الله، مساء الخير جميعا، وشكرا جزيلا على هذا اللقاء وعلى الحضور والمشاركة. طبعا احنا هاي المقدمة عشان يكون عندنا بالفيديو. بنرحب مع الدكتور خالد الكربي من قطر في تاني جورنال كلاب، اونلاين جورنال كلاب. ان شاء الله بقية الزملاء بيتابعونا لاحقا. ما بدي اطول اكثر، الميكروفون معك دكتور خالد، تفضل.
يعطيك العافية دكتور أنس. مثل ما قال لكم أنا الدكتور خالد الكربي من دولة قطر. بس قبل لا أكمل كلامي ممكن بس تقولون لي إذا إنه سامعيني كويس، الصوت كويس ولا يبي له تعديل شيء بسيط؟ ممكن تكتبون في الشات بس عشان نعرف. خلاص أنس، كيف الصوت عندك؟
صوت ممتاز.
الصوت ممتاز. خلاص خلينا احنا نكمل نوعا ما، لأن ما حد قاعد يكتب في هذا، أخاف ما حد سامع أو حاجة، لأن ما في أي تفاعل في الشات. الصوت تمام. دانا كتبت الصوت تمام. طيب. تحسبا لدخول، انت قلت لي ان في 2 راح يكونون موجودين من نيبال صح؟ وفي واحد من نيجيريا. فتحسبا لدخولهم اي وقت، فاحنا راح we will start our journal club in English. At any time, please stop me if you need any clarification or if there is any problem. Okay? As Dr. Anas introduced, my name is Dr. Khalid Al Karbi. I'm from Qatar. I am a specialist of family medicine, the faculty of family medicine program in Qatar. Today, I've chosen a topic which I think is like the new, one of the new innovations, that everyone keeps talking about, which is the keto diet. Almost there is no house in the Middle Eastern world, like I think even in the world, in the whole world, where there is no member in every family at least tried the keto diet or have been asked about the keto diet. So that's why I thought let's talk about the keto diet. There have been number of trials that have been conducted about keto diet. One of them was done like about 1 year ago, which showed promises in changes in the lipid profile, and it's having like positive influence on the lipid profile. However, this study was done on a very small scale, trying to have like a subgroup analysis of the. We can call it as a subgroup analysis of the original study. Let's start with this one. Okay. So I will start with the presentation. Dr. Anas.
Yes.
احنا رفعنا السلايدز presentation. دقيقة create.
slide presentation.
ايوه هذا هو الحين. Right now I will upload the slide presentation. Just give me 1 minute please. Just a quick show of hand, guys. Did you read the article or not? We will not judge you, but if you read it, صراحة it would be very helpful. Thank you, Sumaya. Thank you. Still waiting for the presentation. احنا عملنا لها upload دكتور أنس. We uploaded the presentation. I don't know why it's not showing here.
Let's start again.
I did it. It's uploading right now. They said it might take about 2 minutes, but we will wait for 2 minutes. So we will try to make this presentation or this journal club an interactive session. Luckily, we have Dr. Anas, who's our technical expert. So whenever someone wants to share an opinion with us, like he can just inform us through the chat section, and we will give him the microphone just to talk about it. So please, guys, it will be an honor just to hear your voice and talk in more details. I don't know why. Listen. Anyway, we will try to do something else. No worries. Okay. I will try to do the screen share right now. I don't know why it's not uploading. I think we have to work with whatever we're having in the meantime. Share. Okay. So this is our presentation. This is our title, the 2-week exclusive supplementation of modified ketogenic nutritional drink reserves lean body mass and improves the blood lipid profile in obese adults, a randomized controlled trial. Okay, so this was the title that has been used for the article itself. So usually the way I do it, I always go starting with the title. There is an article, very nice article. It was published in Harvard University, the Journal of Harvard University this year, October 2018. And the author said that title is the most important statement in the article. So title can just, like grab your attention and force you to read the whole thing, or خلاص, it can easily shut you off. So I always like to start my presentation with the title. Okay, so this is here the objective for the journal club, to get familiar with the concept of critical appraisal, develop a critical eye on randomized controlled trial, know how to critically appraise the proposed paper, and applying the CAPS checklist, which was provided as well. Reach a consensus decision whether to include the recommendation in this trial in our practice. Okay, but the title, was it informative? I would like to hear your voice, guys. Like anyone want to talk about the title itself? Quick show of hand. I think Dr. Anas can give him the microphone and he talks about the title.
وحتلاقوا في speak request please. There's a speak request button. You can press on it and allow some of you to speak online. Is there anybody? No one.
Yeah. Can you choose, Dr. Anas? We go. Okay, Sumaya. I think Sumaya is saying it was very informative. Sumaya, if it is possible, can you just like take the microphone and and just share your opinion with us? I think it's much easier.
Maybe she is not ready to speak
maybe.
live, but she might write down her comment if she is able to.
Okay, I think just for time's sake, Dr. Anas, we will just,
Yes.
like we will, answer this question. Yes, I agree with you, Dr. Sumaya. I agree with you that the title was very informative. Yeah, of course, Rina. Rina, how are you? So this is the title, Rina.
Okay, any opinion?
I think they're still formulating the opinion.
Okay.
Okay. طيب. So this is the title that we have here. For me, I think it's very informative, honestly. Like it tells us, like what type of trial that we are having. It tells us the length of the period that the trial is going to last. It tells us what exactly I'm trying to test. They're trying to test the supplementation of modified genetic ketogenic nutritional drinks. So it will involve drinks-only diet. So it kind of tells you everything you need to know from here. When I was reading about this title, or the reason I chose this title, or what grabs my attention in this title, like it's the short period of ketogenic diet, because ketogenic diet is very difficult to maintain. This is one of the problem. But when you see a title saying that, okay, we are doing a study which holds promises for only 2 weeks, this was smartly placed. I don't know if you have tried the ketogenic diet. I didn't try the ketogenic diet, but everyone I ask about ketogenic diet, he says that, okay, I lose stamina or I lose the endurance after like 1 week. But this was kind of easy thing to ask your patient. If it is effective, you can easily ask your patient or convince your patient to do something for 2 weeks. So I think the part of 2 weeks exclusive supplementation was very attractive and was very nicely done. So that's why I like this topic. That's why I like the title. I think, yes, it was very informative, as Sumaya mentioned. Does it say the type of the trial? Yes, it mentioned the type of the trial. That was randomized controlled trial. Any information about the population of interest? Unfortunately, no. There was no information about the population of interest, but did it trigger your curiosity? Unfortunately, you might have other reasons why it triggered your curiosity, but for me, like the fact that it is for only 2 weeks, something that can last only 2 weeks without asking them to stay for 2 months, because like other studies suggested that we have to stay for 2 months before we have results, which is very difficult to achieve. Right now, the abstract, for those who have read the article, I don't know if you have read the article, but the abstract was there. Any conclusion you want to say? Dina tried the keto diet before. So how was it? Did you manage to stay for at least 2 months? Very difficult, very difficult. I know. I have a physician, a colleague of mine, like he's trying the keto diet in the meantime, and yeah, it's very difficult for him, like to stay focused. So that's why I think the title was smartly written. But what about the abstract? Any ideas about the abstract? Honestly, the abstract, like it was coherent with the international guidelines of abstracts. I don't know, Anna. I forgot the name of the structure for the abstract. Is it EMRAD? EMRAD, ولا لا دكتور أنس? Yeah, EMRAD. Like they followed. Yeah, they followed the EMRAD criteria, and it was smartly written. The writer resisted the urge of like mixing up things, because whenever you have a study that is not perfectly done or that is having some flaws, people try to jump or people try to mix the sections, and this was the situation here. But honestly, I think it was written in a very clear and concise way. Okay, and now moving to the background. For those who have read the background, I think the writer or the writers have established a very good background about keto diet. Dr. Najwa didn't try the keto diet. I wouldn't recommend it, honestly. You will see why. Yeah, at least I wouldn't recommend the supplementation only, the supplementation drink, and you will see why. Anyway, did the background provide the logic of the trial? I think the background was nicely written. Like the writer managed to map map the ideas that he's having. He tried to map the readers all the way to the final paragraph of every background, which usually contains the theory that's planned to be tested. And finally, in the background, usually this is only a trick for those who reads like so many papers. Usually in the background, the very last paragraph usually contains the theory that need to be tested, and this is where you can find the research question. And yes, there is nothing to be said about this part. The background was nicely written. It's give you the proper amount of background that helps you to understand why we are doing this study or why we are doing this trial, and then it gives you a clear statement about the question. So what is the research question? Guys, if you have the paper with you, I just gave you a huge clue. Go to the very last paragraph of the background and try to extract the question, the research question. Thankfully, Dr. Anas, he provided you the link. It's just, I made it easier for you. Go to the background, the very last paragraph in the background, and try to get me the statement where it contains the theory that need to be tested. I think you can just copy and paste it in the, if you can't speak it, just copy and paste it in the chat section and do, yeah. Any reply, Dr. Anas?
Till now, no. Dr. Khalid, can you share me the presentation via
Yes,
WhatsApp?
of course. I'll send it to your email. Can you just give me your email? I think it's easier for me.
Okay. Adil. This study indicates the possibility for?
Yes, that's nice, but still, you're very close, Adil. You're very close. You're very close, but this is not exactly what I'm looking for. Go to the last paragraph, very last paragraph of the background. دكتور أنس بعت لك. I sent the presentation for you. I had a nice try, but you know, whenever we're thinking about the research question, we always try to find the pico out of the statement. So just very quick brainstorming. You know, what would be the population here in this statement? Exactly. There is no mention of population in the statement that you have chosen, There's no statement of the intervention that you have chosen. There is like only one type of intervention. There is two types of intervention in the study, and there is no mention of the comparison or the control group and the period and the outcome. So still we need another try. Who said that he tried the keto diet? Sumaya, can you just copy and paste?
آراء ثانية.
Adil, we'll give you one more minute. How about another try? How about another try? Okay. One more minute, Dr. Anas, please.
Okay.
Yes, very nice. Adil is doing his job. Obese patient. It's healthy obese patients. It was clearly stated in the last paragraph. Okay. Dr. Anas, I think it's better for time's sake that I do the answer. How about this?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So this is the statement for the research question. Changes in body weight, body composition, blood lipid profile, and blood ketone bodies were investigated. So this what was investigated. This was the outcome. In healthy obese adult, this was our population. Okay, after 2 weeks period. So this is our time limit or time the period for the investigation, in which they consumed ketogenic nutrition drink exclusively with a ketogenic with a ketone to non-ketone ratio 4:1. So this is the first intervention group, and then drink a partially complemented with the protein to yield a ketone to a non-ketone ratio of 1.7:1. This is the second group, and the third group is just to have a balanced nutritional drink. So for here, the population would be this one here. Let's try to put the marker. Okay. So this is our population. Okay. This is our first intervention. We are having ketone to non-ketone ratio of 4.1 or 4:1. This is the second one, ketone to non-ketone with a ratio of 1.7:1. This is the outcome that we are trying to find: changes in body weight, body composition, blood lipid profile, and blood ketone bodies. Okay, and the last T is like the time period or the time of the trial. It was only 2 weeks. Is this clear, Adil? Is this clear? Any question about this before we continue? Basically, if anyone is noticing, you know, like this is exactly the whole last paragraph. Usually the whole last paragraph is the question that you have to look for. Okay, so right now this would be our PICO. So our population would be healthy obese adult. Can you see it? Because I cannot see it here. Let's just move this part here. So this is our P. Okay, this would be our intervention. So the first intervention, ketone diet 4:1 ratio. The second intervention, ketone diet 1.7:1 ratio. For those who are expert in diets, okay, let's just, you know, like make it a bit interesting. For those who are expert to diet, which one or which ratio that we are using right now in the traditional ketone diet, or like the diet that we are having, or the diet that most of the people are using? Just, you know, like out of common interest. This is not an interest, not an expert, but okay. So usually what we mean here, you know, like 4:1, that's mean for every gram of carbs that you are taking, you have to take 4 grams of protein. And the regular ketone, yes, Haneen, nice, very nice, yeah. Haneen, I think Haneen is ketone master. We will call her the ketone master for this part. Yes, basically what we are using right now is for every gram of carbs, we are using 2 grams of protein. This is roughly 2 grams of protein, and this is what the ketone diet is going on, or the ketone diet regime that has been used or advertised in the media in the meantime. So these two are the intervention, and then this is the comparison, balanced nutritional drinks. We have taken the balanced nutritional drinks. Last is the outcome, the change in body weight, body composition, blood lipid profile, and the blood ketones bodies. And finally, the period T. So I think, Dr. Anas, we can start the first poll. Okay, I'll do the publish. Okay, for the first poll, guys, like you just have to choose one of those options. Did the trial, after what we have explained so far, did the trial address clearly the focused issue? Anas, can we tell how many have replied?
Unfortunately, no.
Yeah.
Seems two till now.
Okay.
Can you find please the polls? تصويت في خانة للتصويت please. ثالث خانة. يا ريت كل واحد فينا يشارك في التصويت.
I think we have 2 who said yes, it addressed clearly the focus issue. وفي 1 said that I cannot tell.
صار 3-1.
3-1. So it's still 4. 4 needs to decide. 4-1. Yes.
Okay, 6-1.
6-1. Only one. Oh, okay, we have 7. Yeah, okay, we have 7 already. Someone has just left. Okay, so for the one who can't tell, can you please tell us who can't really tell? Okay. So, because if you can't tell, you can just tell us right now, like why you can't tell, and we can just help you, just tell you what exactly needs to be done or where to look for it. Dina, 70% fat, 25% protein, and this 5% carb. Nice. مواصفات كفتة يا دينا هذه. Delicious one as well. Okay. طيب.
We have to continue.
Okay, let's continue. Okay, so we go to the second poll. The second poll, this is where a complication starts a little bit, like to get more. Was the assignment of patient and the treatment randomized? Please answer.
Okay.
No, nice, interesting. 1-1. Okay, we only have 3 so far. Okay, let's just to make things easy, I will open this one and try to enlarge.
further answers. Okay.
Okay, they're starting to change. For 4 answered so far, we still have 4.
Okay, last 5 seconds to answer. We have to move, Dr. Khalid.
Yes, of course. Dr. Anas. Yalla, okay, let's go. So for me, I do agree with the majority as well. Yes, it was. They changed. The majority has changed now, right now. Okay, but I do agree with the yes people. Yes, it was very nice and very carefully randomized. And I'll tell you how to judge if it is very well randomized or not. Always go to this part, like of table. It's usually table 1, but in this study it was done in as table 2. But usually table 1 is always contain the baseline characteristics of the study participant. So if you want to know if it is well randomized or not, just go to the baseline characteristics of the body participant. The majority of the tables, or these tables, they will have at the last column, they will have something we call the p-value. So this p-value, as we know, or maybe as Dr. Anas told you, and he beautifully explained for us in his session in Wonka, Lebanon, anything that is above p-value, above 0.05, that's mean there is no statistical difference. So that's mean both groups are the same. So as we can see here, like when it comes to age, this is the first group here, the 4:1. This is the second group, 1.7:1, and this is the balanced diet, which is the last group. And we can see the p-value between the 3 groups here. The p-value is above 0.05, which means that there is no statistical difference when it comes to age. And that's mean that age was properly randomized between these 3 groups, because it was not significantly different, as it is more than 0.05. Is that clear? Please, guys, like if it's not clear, tell me, because this is the essence of like everything. Clear? Should I go?
Reina is asking.
Yes, Rina, yes, we don't need the p-value. You will see some studies, they don't include the p-value, but you will notice if you read like so many papers, like if you read a huge number of papers, and you always just take a look, like just take a look at the baseline characteristics. Eventually you will develop, like this kind of critical eye, like you will know, yes, okay, I think they are similar. As you can see, like here the average in 4:1 group is 29.5, whereas there is like plus or minus 9 years difference. On the other hand, like it's like 24. The third group is like 26. Even if the p-value is not there, but you can tell, like they are almost, like in the same range group on the 3rd decade of their life. So yes, p-value is not needed, but p-value is there. P-value is like included in almost every study, but I do agree with you that sometimes it will not be included, and when it not be included, you can have, like just a rough idea when you look at a huge number of studies. Okay, so when it comes to age, the p-value was not significant. When it comes to sex, the p-value was not significant, as it is more than 0.05. When it comes to height, the p-value was not significant. When it comes to the body composition, you look at the all baseline characteristics here, the body water, the protein, the minerals, and everything. Nothing was different between the 3 groups. The same thing applies to the blood lipid profile. So when it comes to randomization, we can tell, like the patients have been carefully placed between the 3 groups, like, so for every patient in the first group, there is a similar patient in the second group, and there is a similar patient with the similar characteristics in the third group, which means it was very nicely randomized. Any disagreement? So now, is it clear that it was beautifully randomized? Okay. I think for time's sake, like we will just move, Dr. Anas.
Exactly, yes.
I think it was well explained. So I think, yeah. Now we move to the next poll. Okay, where the patient who entered the trial probably accounted for properly accounted for at its conclusion.
We have 1 minute to answer, please, or less, 30 seconds. Were all of the patients who entered the trial properly accounted for at its conclusion?
Okay, Dr. Anas, I think this part is not really important, so I will not spend so much time on it, but
Okay.
I will go through it very quickly. This is something we call the type of analysis, like that we have used in the study. Usually in the majority of the study, just to keep in mind, like the majority of the studies or the randomized control trial, because there is a rate of dropout, usually they follow something we call intention to treat analysis. So this one was intention to treat. It wasn't clearly specified, but it was what those who have experience in medical research, it's called a modified intention to treat, because even if there is a drop that happened in the middle of the study, the patient who have dropped their information will be still included in the final conclusion if they finish a certain number of intervention or certain amount of intervention. Just I wouldn't recommend. It's not really very helpful for a physician to know details about it. It's only for researchers, and the questionnaire that has been used for this, it was like only designed for researchers. So I would understand if you don't have like a clear idea about it. But you can tell me. I'm with you guys in the group. You can tell me, and I can show you. I give you more details, like about it, about the intention to treat and the modified intention to treat. But for time's sake, we will continue right now. Okay, so we will go for the fourth one, where the health worker and study personnel blind to the treatment. So blinding, what do you think of blinding here, guys? Was in the study any mention of blinding? So we have one replied. I wish I can tell who replied. Anas? Yeah, if we can tell who replied, it would be really beautiful, like it would be really nice.
فقط يعترف بنفسه يعني.
Okay, guys, it's only like one of the three options, like it's anonymous. Just let's just do it. Choose any of the three. Believe me, in the majority of times, your first hunch is the right answer. Okay.
Actually, I did a simple thing. I searched for the word blind or blinded.
Yes, exactly. The writer forget everything about blinding, and I think this is why it was published in nutrition journal, like which is a modest impact factor journal compared to the other ones. So yes, he forgot. He skipped everything about blinding. He didn't say if it was single blinded, like as a patient, or only blinded. He didn't mention if the patient or physicians are blinded, or he didn't even mention if it was triple blinded. So this can tell you, like a huge deficiency in this study, because there is always a bias. There is always a bias, like that comes whenever you have a blinding issue. So imagine if we have, who said that he did the Sumaya said that she did the keto. So let's say that Sumaya found good changes, or like she found like a positive findings, like of her experience. If she's conducting similar studies and she know who started on ketogenic diet and who's on the balanced diet, there is a high chance that Sumaya will give an
Not
extra
Sumaya,
care. No, Sumaya. I think it's Sumaya.
I think
Sumaya
Dina.
will do it. Even Dina. Okay, so I think anyone who managed to get like a good results from ketogenic diets, he will have a high chances of taking extra care, giving extra care, and like, or even follow up. Maybe he can just have phone calls, like with patients who are doing the ketogenic diets and ignoring the basic balanced diet. So this is the type of bias that we are having when it comes to unblinding issues. So yes, there was no blinding mentioned. Maybe he made it like a double blinded, but like there was no mentioning of the blinding. And one of the criteria of publishing your paper in a in a respectable journal with a high impact factor, you have to have detailed about the blinding in your paper and the concealment of allocation. Now we will move to the fifth question, where the group similar at the start of the trial. I think this is we already answered this one, and you shouldn't take a very long time with this, guys. 1 minute, I think it's enough.
Please answer.
Yes, because we did talk about this. I specifically answered this one. I gave you the clear answer of this one. I think all of them answered.
You can go.
Okay. So yes, the groups were similar because it was properly randomized. So all the groups, like, were similar. So yes, I agree with the guys. I will assume the best of you guys, and I would assume that many of you have answered this one. Yes, all the groups were similar, aside from the experimental intervention where the group treated equally. Can you tell from the paper that the groups were given the same care?
Please participate in the poll. No.
Nice. Yeah, I think the majority have answered can't tell. Exactly. I cannot tell. Honestly, I cannot tell, like if the intervention were for the groups treated equally, because there is no mentioning of blinding. So as there is no mentioning of proper blinding going on, we can't really tell if the all the groups have had like similar care as the others. So yes, I totally agree. Guys, you're doing good. So I think yes.
Okay. Next question.
Next question. I think we were like in 6. So 7 and 8, we will go to 7 and 8 in a while. Can the result be applied for the local population or in your context? There is no right or wrong answer with this one. Honestly, like the way I look at it, there is no right or wrong. But let's see your opinion.
Maybe it's better to go to question 7 and 8.
Then I have them in the presentation after this slide, so
Okay.
we will go there. Okay. Yes, as I mentioned, there is no right or wrong in this answer because um, ketogenic diet have proven to be in other studies, previous studies have proven to be effective. But when it comes to only supplementation or taking a liquid diet, like with the ketogenic diet, I think, because it's liquid, I cannot apply this in our community. There is no way that you can convince one of your patients to stop eating anything solid and ask him to stay with only drinks. So what do you think, guys? أنا استخيل أقول لك أسبوعين بس تشرب لي بروتين.
مسامحك يا خالد.
الله يعطيك العافية. So this is my logic. This is what I think why I cannot use this in my community, for this part. And the second thing, like what could be useful or what could be helpful in the North Korean or South Korean population is not necessarily useful in our criteria, because in South Korea, the obesity or the overweight that have been included in this study were even starting from 4 to a BMI of 24 and above. But here, BMI of 28, you will find people in, I'm talking like in Middle East, like you will find people who are like with a BMI of 28, but they are fit, and the lifestyle modification is not really helpful for them. Maybe they're having more muscles, or like they're bulky or anything like that. So I think I cannot use it, but I cannot judge, or I cannot say for sure that I cannot use it. If someone is willing to take liquids, why not? Yes, exactly, حنين. انتوا حنين من الأردن يا أنس، ولا من
نعم
وين؟ من
نعم.
الأردن. انتوا أهل المنسف وأهل الهذا. طيب. طيب. Dina, liquid is difficult in our society. So well, that's why I think we cannot use it. So now moving, I think, to the last two questions, and then we will go and represent the finding that we have. 10. Yes.
Where all clinically important. Okay.
Yes.
Were all clinically important outcomes considered?
يعني القصد ان هنا هل هو he presented in the result section all the primary and the secondary outcomes that he was planning to find. هل هذا الشيء ممكن انت تقدر تستخدمه بعدين بناء على النتائج اللي كانت موجودة، او بناء على النتائج or based on the result that you have withdrawn, can you apply this in your clinic, in your practice, or not? This is what is meant by this question. Yes, I think it's between, like, because he represented the findings in a very beautiful way, like he mentioned at the beginning, I will look for 1, 2, 3, 4 outcomes, and he managed to discuss those outcomes at the discussion section. However, when it comes to the application of this changes, like in our community, it's very difficult to maintain or to have a ketogenic diet that is 4-to-1, or because 2-to-1 itself is very difficult. The ratio of 2-to-1 is very difficult. So imagine just like 4-to-1. So now we will move. So yes, I think it's like a split decision of this one. And finally, the benefit worth the harm and cost. انت شفتوا results, right? And you notice that 2-to-1 diet, I will show the results. Okay. So are you willing to give your patients liquids only diet? This is what I'm asking. Liquid only diet for 2 weeks just for this results. Honestly, I might for whoever answered this one, yes, I might go for the ratio of 2-to-1, but I will never use the liquid supplementation. You know, like I will try to modify it to something more logic in our diet, and the idea of 2 weeks only is very appealing. So yes, I think yeah, the ketogenic diet can be performed easily, and yeah, 2 weeks is very applicable, but it needs some modification. I will not use it in liquid form. So right now for the answer 6 and 7, so the blinding, we mentioned the issue of blinding, and then the analysis, we mentioned the issue of analysis. Now we comes to the results. What type of outcome is concluded? You know, like we know that there are like 2 types of outcome, you know, like that we usually use in our analysis. We have something we call the categorical outcome or a continuous outcome. So what do you think was the outcome here? It's not a poll, guys. You know, like you can just write it down in the section, in the chat section. I do have the table here. So this is the table here. So these are the outcomes. You know, like this is for the ketogenic 4-to-1. This is for the ketogenic 1.7-to-1, and this is for the balanced diet. And as we noticed that, you know, it's usually body water in liters, and this is how much it was in the first week or the beginning, after 1 week, and after 2 weeks. So it kind of tells you an idea. Categorical. Why would you say categorical, Haneen? It's a number, right? You have a number here. It tells you that there is a minus 2.8 after 2 weeks, minus 2.8 liter. So what do you think now? Same thing with protein in kilograms. There is minus 0.7 after 2 weeks. Same thing applies to the minerals in kilograms. Same thing applies to body weight in kilograms. So he's not categorizing it. He's just telling you how much exactly I have lost within 2 weeks. So that's what we call continuous. This is like a classical continuous outcome that we are looking for. And continuous is always appealing because of the tests that we can use for continuous. There is some types of tests that we call parametric tests, you know, like, and if you use parametric tests, it's very appealing for the statistician to believe your results. So that's why he was smart with choosing the continuous. Always try to go for continuous whenever you get the chance, honestly, because you will have a strong argument when it comes to significant results. But if it is non-continuous, there is like always discussion about, yeah, you use non-parametric tests, which is not statistically significant as it is in parametric tests or continuous data. So yes, it was continuous that he was looking for. Now we go to the other question. What type of statistical test was used? He used the parametric test, which we call the student t-test, which I was discussing with Dr. Anas last week. We had like a nice discussion about this, and we were thinking maybe he was able to use something we called analysis of variance, repeated measure ANOVA. But yes, student test is very useful. Dina, thank you very much, Dina. Inshallah, Anas will manage to do this. Okay. Was the test that has been used is appropriate? Yes, it's appropriate. It was properly used. The student test is a very useful one and very easy to apply. And yes, it was properly used. What can be concluded from the outcome? Now we know this is like a session where everyone likes to know about how can I tell if the results are good or not. Usually, what we are looking for is the p-value. If there is like a p-value of less than 0.05, This tells you that there is a huge difference between what I started and where I reached. But unfortunately here, fortunately here, he presented it in a very weird way, but I gave you the summary. So this is what happened. In all group, there was a significant difference in body weight, body water, protein, minerals, body weight, skeletal muscle mass, body fat mass, BMI, waist circumference, and hip circumference were found between the beginning of the study and after 2 weeks. That means the student test was less than 0.05 when I started the average of weights at the beginning of the study and after 2 weeks. In all group, waist and hip circumference decreased significantly between 0 and again. So that means the waist and hip circumference, the change you can be noticed in within 1 week, and this was like very, very appealing. You know, like in 1 week, you can make another hole in your belt. Anas, what do you think about that? Very appealing, right? Yeah. And then he goes to the second important thing, which is the lipid profile. This is where the controversy happens. I'll go fast with this one. The cholesterol showed no significant change between 0 to 2 weeks. Within which group? Within the first group, the 4-1. But decreased significantly. So the total cholesterol has decreased with the 1.7 to 1 and with the balanced diet. So these two were helpful in reducing the ketogenic diet, reducing the total cholesterol. The LDL, which is really important as well, showed no significant change between 0 to 2 weeks in the 4-1 ratio, but there is a significant decrease between in 1.7 to 1 and the balanced group. And finally, the ketogenic diet, 4-1 and 1.7 to 1, no significant changes in HDL. However, the cholesterol was reduced, the HDL was reduced in balanced diet. So this what gives like an advantage of the ketogenic diet of 1.7 to 1 in this comparison, because yeah, I'm always aiming to reduce LDL and increase HDL. Missing data here, he didn't mention anything about how to deal with missing data, and this is one of the very huge problems that he was having, because there is more than 40% dropout rate. Unfortunately, 40% dropout rate, and this tells you, like that there is a big problem with this study and something needs to be done. Okay. Finally, the discussion. He gave the recommendation properly. He tried to convince us, that yeah, my results are coherent with the previous studies, but still he didn't address the shortcomings properly. Like the 40%, half of your population have left the study before it's finished, which tells you that it's not applicable. If the Korean didn't manage to stay for 2 weeks, half of the Korean didn't manage to stay for 2 weeks, how can you imagine that the Middle Eastern will stay for 2 weeks, right? So therefore, the final decision, I agree with most of you, I would recommend ketogenic diet, but I will never ask them to go for 4-1 ratio. 2-1 ratio seems reasonable and very effective, but it has to be I have to avoid the liquid formulations. And further study with strategies to avoid the huge dropout rate, like always promising. I think that's it for now. Thank you very much.
Okay, we might give extra minute, 2 minutes for questions. Is there any extra questions? Please.
I have only 2%, so let's hope that it will survive.
Of the laptop
Okay.
battery.
Yeah.
Okay.
It will survive. It will survive, inshallah. Any question, guys? Sorry, I took like an extra 5 minutes. Apologies for that.
Haneen is asking.
Yes, like after reading this one, like I decided to, why not? Like maybe we can do like a study, multi-centric study, with you guys. Thank you very much, Adil. Thank you, Haneen.
اوكي دكتور خالد.
No questions. Okay.
Thank you all. نراكم ان شاء الله الشهر القادم ويعطيكم العافيه جميعا. شكرا دكتور خالد.
Thank you, سمية. شكرا
جميع
أنس.
ما شاركنا، والسلام عليكم ورحمه الله تعالى وبركاته. في ريتنج بليز وانتم طالعين